Hey everyone, welcome back to another Coffee with Kittl. I have my friend Juna with me. It's always a pleasure talking with Juna. I'm always excited because I'm going to get a ton of knowledge, just like you are going to get a ton of knowledge. So, by the way, before you keep watching, go ahead and head down to his YouTube real quick. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing, especially if you're selling T-shirts or other things in on demand. Yeah, check out his channel real quick and then come back and, and continue watching this. So
Thanks, June.
today's topic, we're going to talk about AI
Mm-hmm.
in t-shirt design, but also we're going to get into a little bit of just using AI in print on demand. Okay, maybe
Mm-hmm.
some potential pros, some
Mm-hmm.
cons,
Mm-hmm.
maybe any dangers we need to talk about,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then yeah, other things that we can utilize AI for. And as you all, many of you probably know, we have Kittl AI, so now you can
Mm-hmm.
use AI right in Kittl. You can even get vector graphics with AI, and we just released a vectorizer tool. So if you
So
get an
cool.
AI image that you want to vectorize, you can do that. And I have a
Yeah.
tutorial coming out on that soon. So
I've used it. It's cool.
you,
It's
yeah,
very
you've used
cool.
it. Yeah, I really love it with the vintage
Yeah.
drawing clip art style because I think
Man.
it just makes such a cool thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have a couple questions, but I know you've probably seen or utilized AI for a couple t-shirts. So
Mm-hmm.
what if, just to start, you kind of give your thoughts on utilizing AI with t-shirt design and any tips you have for that, like kind of coming out of the get-go?
Yeah. Okay. So AI, basically, the way I think about AI is it's like replacing your clip art searches, right? Like before AI, we would go, and still a lot of people do this. They go out on the
Mhm.
internet, look for a graphic or whatever,
Right.
and try and get that graphic, put it on a T-shirt. Now with AI, you can actually type what you want, and it will serve it up to you. Now
Right.
I think we're still really early in AI. I think all the AI platforms are going to get a big boost in the next year or two
I
because
think so.
I feel like right now it's really early, and sometimes when you type it in, you don't get the exact result that you're looking for.
At least not the first time.
Not Yeah, you got to kind of refine your prompts, right?
Yeah.
And so we're all trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out what the right prompt is. The AI is trying to figure out what you really want and kind of get
Yeah.
smarter and smarter. But yeah, I think that's kind of where, at least that's how I'm using AI, as like, well, I want something specific,
Hmm.
and so I'm typing it out. Like maybe like this would be really hard to do right now in AI, but I think in the future you could, a unicorn dabbing, right? Like we
Oh
see
yeah.
that, but
Yeah, like an emoji or something.
yeah, like a kawaii unicorn dabbing with colorful hair and like all that stuff. Some like AI may get that right or may not, but I think in the future it's really gonna like define that, like get
Right.
it really good, right? And I think one really powerful thing about AI too is like when it does get really good, and then when you do get something really good, you can get something that's different, that stands out, that nobody
Yes.
else has, right? That I think
Yes, that's
that's
a good
really
point.
the power of AI, because you can go and search what you're doing today without AI is you're searching for something that's already there. But
Kind yeah, yeah,
what if
kinda,
you're
yeah.
trying to think of something that nobody has? So
Mm,
that's the power of AI. Like you can create something so unique, that will stand out, that and it's up against everybody else, they're like, oh, that thing,
yeah.
I really like that. So I'm hopeful. I don't think we're there yet. I think some, like, we get lucky. It's hit and miss, like you said. Um, you can type in something and it may get something close, and then you got to do the prompt again and then you
Yeah.
could get really lucky and get
And I
those kind
think
of
that's
results.
with a lot of them,
Yeah, with all AI, because
yeah.
we're still very early in AI. So
Absolutely. And I think that's a good point. That's one of the pros or the strengths to AI is
mhm.
I mean, I've mentioned it in the first couple of videos I did just showcasing Kittl AI is your options really do become endless, and
Mhm.
they also become scalable. And so
Yes.
I was writing down some notes, like, and maybe you can like chime in here on what you think is like we can create automation is not the right word because that would be like you hit something and then it just automates,
Yeah,
like
maybe in the future, but not right
maybe in the
now.
future. But like for example, in Kittl AI, we have the clip art styles, and I
Mhm.
just mentioned vintage drawing or
Mhm.
kawaii or whatever. And then you could use that for a subset of whatever niche in that style to just
Mhm.
kind of automate like a vintage car, vintage cup, vintage a hat,
Right.
vintage mustache, vintage whatever. And
Yeah.
then that right, that could be like a super powerful thing that one
Mhm.
stands out and two, you have kind of endless content. You know,
Yeah.
like what do you think about using AI in that way? Like what have
Yeah,
you
I
seen that being a
really hope.
strength?
I think it can be. I don't know if the consistency is where,
Mm,
like,
yeah.
if we can get a consistent, if AI was smart enough to like copy my style and just
Okay.
keep everything the same style, I think you could really build brand really quick. Now, if you don't care about having the same style and you just want to pump out t-shirts, I think what you're saying is absolutely true. You can just keep making different clip arts that don't necessarily look like each other, but
Yeah,
you
maybe
could
the type
change
is
it.
the same or
Yeah,
whatever,
maybe
you
the
know.
type is the same and the graphics a little different, and so that still would be that would still work. Yeah, I think there's so much potential, and I really like what you guys are doing on Kittl, where you know that you have to knock out the background. A lot
Yeah.
of the AI
Yeah.
components, if you go to like Midjourney or wherever, they don't necessarily knock out the background, and so you guys thought of that. You know what we need on print on demand. So
Yeah,
yeah, so smart.
I've even used, I mean, I personally like Midjourney. I think
Uh,
the output is phenomenal.
yeah.
Again, I use that for really high intensity detail, you know, all these keywords like
Hmm.
trending on ArtStation, 8K, like all this
Hmm.
stuff. But
Hmm.
I've even taken, I've told it, you know, such and such and such on a black background, and I've put
Right.
it in Kittl and hit background remove, and it did it
Oh
like
wow. Okay.
perfectly.
Oh
So I'm
nice.
using AI with AI. It's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Um, so what like if we talk about maybe style for a
Hmm.
second, because you
Hmm.
mentioned and I think you mentioned something really important, which is consistency. And I think
Hmm.
with some of and again, we're constantly improving
Right. Of course.
our AI, Kittl AI. I think with some of them, you can really get some consistent in the style. Like one that I think is pretty consistent is the vector grunge style.
Oh right.
For
That's a cool one.
whatever, it really just provides you this kind of bitmap, high threshold,
Hmm.
grungy pieces everywhere of an
There you go.
icon, and you can
That's
put in your icon, and it does give you some consistency. But it kind of matched with that. What what have you seen style wise? And maybe I'm not asking like can you look at a shirt and be like that was AI? Maybe you can. Like
I
sometimes you
can't.
I think sometimes you probably could if it's something too immaculate. But
Yeah.
like what are the styles or trends that you see using AI with? Like, is there a specific thing that's
Yeah. I
popping up
think
in your head that's popular right now?
I don't know if it's popular, but definitely, like you said, like Midjourney and some of those can do some real high end, super realistic
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like so I think if we see some of those like 3D looking,
3D. Okay.
just like super realistic 3D stuff, like in gaming, I think those probably like that somebody used AI for that, right? Because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not spending a ton of time drawing that out. But it could go the other way too. Could do like just vintage silhouette stuff. I think those could do.
Mm,
Scenery would be really cool with AI. I've been playing around with that, like beach scenery, cityscapes, those kind
yes.
of
Okay.
things. Um,
And what might be coming up like t-shirt wise or print on demand wise that
okay,
you see like, yo, I think AI can really help you because you don't have to go and scour the internet for you know, these clip art styles. Like what are the either maybe not niches right there because we're talking about t-shirts, but like what's coming up that you're like you could use AI to really make some banger shirts.
so this is future brainstorm.
But prep
Like I,
now.
I could see in the future, if imagine this, you type in a phrase that you like, you maybe I don't know, St. Patrick's Day or whatever, but just
Right.
have a pun for St. Patrick's Day, whatever the pun is.
Okay.
Type that out into AI and have it show you like five different fully done T-shirt ideas.
Iterations of something, yeah.
Yeah, the graphics and the text
Oh
together.
wow, yeah.
That would be super powerful. Can you imagine that? Like
Yeah,
that would
AI
be.
cannot handle text right
Yeah, it
now
can't
though,
right
man.
now.
It
That's
just
why I'm
none of
saying
it.
future.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, if it can, if you guys figure out how to handle text and use your fonts that you have in there,
That would
that
be
would be
insane.
bananas.
Like an AI builder is what that is, I
Yeah, it
think.
would be an AI builder using your fonts, and maybe you type in the font
Mm.
too. It's like what font what's the phrase, what style, and then it just boom, 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 boom makes t-shirts, man.
Yeah,
We're
maybe it's something like it
Woo.
has like a category of placement.
Yeah,
So, and then it just what you're telling it to do is
and use
generate
the colors. Maybe these
the
are the colors I
colors,
want.
and then it generates the graphic is what the
Yeah,
AI is actually doing, but what the rest is just formatting text in an
text
arc
around
or a
it.
straight or flat or whatever.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, that
But
could be
right
pretty
now,
wild.
not thinking 10 years in the future, that may come in real soon. I don't know.
Hey,
There's some amazing things that AI can
yeah,
do.
absolutely.
But right now, I would imagine, um, just getting the right t-shirt design out there, the graphics for the t-shirt, just getting smarter. Um, so just I think what we have to do as designers is like figure out like the limits of this tool
Okay.
and what can it do, and then maybe build our library of clip arts that AI has done for me. Like, do I need a
Okay.
cat? What style? Okay, what was the cat doing? I need a cat eating ramen. I need a cat playing with a ball. I need a cat doing, that kind of stuff. And then we
Sure.
can. I know we can only make so many AIs a month, but like put those together, and then now you have that. Whenever I need a T-shirt for cat doing something, I have that. Or then I got my unicorn, and then I got my, so I build my
Yeah.
library of AI art instead of going out and trying to find it. I think we need to be smart about that. If you're going to scale it, if you're just doing one T-shirt every once in a while, then of course you're just going to get the graphic that you need. But I think
Right.
we could use, since AI can pump it out really quickly, we could really build our library really quick. So
Yeah, no, that's a great point about making, if you don't have or don't see an asset that you need,
yeah,
an element that you need, then
that's exactly right.
you work on building it that way,
Mhm. And
And
I would
go
look
ahead.
first on Kit. Like you guys have a lot of graphics already, and the
Sure.
reason
Yeah.
I would use AI instead of your graphics is because maybe I don't find something in your graphics. So I
Or
think
in that
you were on,
style. Yeah.
yeah, or the style, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would search first. Like if I were on Kittl, I would search first to see if it's on Kittl already,
Mhm.
and if not, and if I want something different and new, and maybe like we talked about, maybe we do want something that's like on Kittl but different, because I want mine different and not use everything that
Everybody
somebody already
else might
has.
use.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's true too.
Yeah. And what would you say do you see any like variability or difference or potential issues with AI being some AI generated things not being vector? And I'm kind of mentioning this just because we have this vectorization tool, the image
Hmm.
vectorizer tool, which you can just click and boom, it makes it vector. And again, we already have text to vector, but
Hmm.
you may not have all of the same, it's not building you a perfect picture like up in our digital category.
Hmm.
But do you see any variability, or do you see just utilizing both? Like sometimes you get something that's just nice enough. There's no reason for it to be vector. And I don't know if you've noticed it, like when it's actually printed on the shirt, if
Hmm.
there's any difference or anything. Like, is there anything
Uh,
we should know about that, or is it really just maybe trial and error?
I think it's personal preference, but it definitely have to be the right size. Like
Okay.
a lot of the AIs that come in, not yours, but outside, I know they come in like 1024 by 1024, which is not big enough for
Yeah, unless
a
I think
shirt.
Midjourney you can upscale if you pay. I pay
Yeah,
for mine, so I
yeah.
think it'll give me 2500 by
It's
2500. I
still
think.
not big enough, right? You got to be at least
Yeah,
4,500 wide, in some cases more, in some other, like if you're putting it on bigger products, it might
yeah.
be more, bigger posters and things like that. So I think
Mm,
that's the
okay.
power of making it a vector, is the scalability.
Yeah.
But if it's the right size, I don't think, I mean, I think raster is fine. Um, it's just if you want a custom, right? Like the vector, it's easier to color, easier to move things around, knock out the background, all that stuff that comes with vector, which is why I do most of my stuff in vector.
Okay.
Affinity Designer, just so I have the flexibility to
Yeah.
change it and scale it and color it and all that stuff. But it comes out nice. Like if you are using raster and you do some of those, like some of those can't be vector, like those 3D models we talked about, the high
Oh,
res
yeah, it would take
stuff. Like,
forever to try to
yeah,
replicate that in a 3D in a
yeah.
vector way.
So as long as that's the right size for the product that you need for your print on demand, I don't see a problem with it. But again, that I think
Yeah.
that's the nice thing about having vectors.
I've heard from, a couple of our collaborators, and I've even done this myself as well, is one potential strength if you know what you're doing. You just mentioned Affinity Designer. I like to utilize Procreate because I like to draw.
Hmm.
How have you used AI in this way, or do you see this as a strength of taking something that you made in AI, but it's like maybe 70% of the way there, and then you continue it elsewhere, or,
Hmm.
or fix it or tweak it? What can you maybe explain that process and how people could make some
Yeah,
awesome
so I
stuff?
did that recently. I didn't show it, but
Sure.
I did a design recently with AI. I used Leonardo.
Okay.
I asked it to make me a three pots cactus or succulents,
Mm,
cactus in three pots, but they were covering
nice.
each other. And
Oh man.
so I had to highlight it, take it apart. And so because it covered each other, one of the pots was in the background of another one. But when I separated it, that pot in the
It's just like
background,
a, yeah.
yeah, there was a big hole, right? So I had to fix it. I just came in there, used, the pen tool and kind of filled in the space, and now it's a full pot.
Okay.
So now I have my three separate pots. I can move wherever I want instead of having it overlap. And so that way I
Nice.
used it. I vectorized it first, though. I used
Okay, I was getting ready
vectorized.
to
Yeah.
ask if Leonardo can also provide generate
Yeah.
vector
No, I
images like that.
wish. So
That'd
I
be
had to
crazy.
go Leonardo. It's small. I vectorized it and I scaled it up, and so it's a process. But yeah, so it's nice. You can finish it up, and you can recolor it too now that you
I was
vectorized it.
getting ready to say that's a big
Yeah.
strength of creating something vector.
Yeah, so I did a skull as well, and then
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't. It came in gray, the skull, and so I wanted to make it lighter, so I just clicked it and made it white instead. Right. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a if you're able to do that in another tool, or if you're, if you like to draw or something like that, you can. I know May does that a lot, or from what she tells me, exporting it and then kind of just using it as the base and even
Hmm.
drawing something else.
Hmm.
And or I mean, this isn't necessarily AI related, but now with our vectorizer or any other tool like in Affinity or Illustrator, you can whatever you're drawing, you can pop in there and make vector.
Yeah.
In the video coming out soon, I drew a little cat and I imported it to Kittl and I vectorized it, and it actually did a really good job. I was
Wow.
sometimes I'm
Wow.
afraid of detail lines,
Yeah.
but I was actually very pleasantly surprised at how well it does it. So it's back and forth too. Like
Yeah.
if you don't necessarily like write what it gives you, and as you mentioned, as your monthly credits, and you don't want to just take 10, 15 to try to get one, and it's already 70 or 80% of the way there, you could continue working on it, and another thing, put it back in, and then
Absolutely.
now you've built that the library that we're talking about of elements that you want to use. So maybe you use those pots, the succulent pots, as stickers now.
Hmm.
Because they're
Yeah.
vector, you can move them around individually, right? Or
Absolutely.
what I'm assuming.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about, now that we've talked kind of about how we're using AI and why it's popular, maybe the future of it and where it's going. And we've talked about t-shirts, tips like it needs to be the right size. So think
Yeah.
about scalability. If it's not
Hmm.
quite getting it, maybe consider vectorizing it
Hmm.
or just generating it a couple different times.
Hmm.
And we've talked about utilizing styles, right? Use the clip
Hmm.
art styles to your advantage. What else? What other products? Because I think people are maybe a little bit stuck on use case. They're like, AI is really cool, and they're using it and they're making really cool things. And
Hmm.
some people are maybe not even utilizing them in a way that can make them money. I'm not saying everybody. I know some of you are pros out there and you're like, I'm killing the game on Etsy or whatever with posters or something.
Yeah.
But like AI is so specific. And as you mentioned, some AI tools have size limitations, but what are some of the top print on demand products that you would see AI being super productive for?
Man, I think it can do everything, but
All of it. Do
all
all
of
of it.
it. But we talked about t-shirts. Posters is a real easy one to wrap your head around, right? If you can get it
Okay.
at the right size. Usually the
Mm.
poster sizes are pretty big. Like I do it on display, and there's
Oh,
poster
okay. So
sizes
have
on Redbubble.
you've utilized AI for display?
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah.
I have been afraid to try it. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah, so you can create it again. I did it in vectorize it, right, and then
Oh, okay.
scale it up,
Okay. Okay.
right,
Got
because
it.
it has
Good
to be
tip.
big.
Good
So
tip.
think about a vectorized version of. So it wouldn't really work for like the high res 3D art stuff unless you can
Hmm.
use some other thing to scale that up. I
Yeah.
may I
Okay.
may have to look. I think there is
There
something where
is
you
a
can scale.
tool. My
Yeah,
friend just told me about a tool that you can put an image into and it reconstructs it
yeah,
in a
in a
high res.
raster rate,
Yeah,
right?
I don't
Yeah.
know if it'll do exactly one for one,
So
but
I'll have to
yep.
play around with that one. So posters is real easy because it's like a one-to-one, right? Like it
Yeah.
looks like a poster already if you just get it at the right, like a tall
Yeah. Okay.
rectangle, right?
Yeah.
Um, Stickers, I think, is really easy for people to figure out that one. You can actually put in sticker as a prompt in most of the AI
Really?
stuff, and
Okay.
it will it will give a white outline around it. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, and so you can actually see it like as a sticker. Tons,
That's interesting.
yeah. So food sticker, animal sticker, kawaii,
Hmm.
like easy. You as long as it looks good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, because sometimes it gets wonky. Patterns is
Patterns.
on everything. So like you Kittl has patterns, which does really good. I think I've done a bunch with Kittl already. Flower patterns are great, but you can go and think outside of the box. Like I made a taco pattern, I think once, or
Nice.
nachos, or just like you could do Fourth of July. Like it doesn't always have to be flower patterns. Uh,
Sure.
I for some reason AI has a hard time with geometric patterns, but whatever.
Yes. It
Um,
likes organic shapes
it
right
does like
now.
organic shapes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe we'll
So
add a geometric pattern preset, maybe. Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Like if you can figure that one out, that would be really cool. Um, let's see, and yeah, patterns, t-shirts. Like I think that's it. Like once you have patterns, you can put it on like 80% of the things on Redbubble.
Yeah.
Or
And I was
so
even thinking things like these are things just coming to me right now, especially
uh,
with the ability to vector some things. You could make coloring pages.
oh, you are right. I forgot about that one. That is
Such
a
a
big
big
one
one,
too.
right?
Yeah,
For
KDP.
Etsy.
And
Um,
download digital downloads,
yes.
coloring pages. Like
Even
that's
ebook,
huge.
like an ebook cover.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think we're gonna
yeah.
do a
Oh, I'm
tutorial on
glad
that
you
pretty
mentioned
soon.
that. That is
Yeah.
one I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got to do a video with all these products.
Yeah. Hey, endless ideas for you and us. Like
Yeah,
the endless videos.
I just did a video of the 5 different topics I think are really popular on AI, and one of them is
Topics. Ooh, do you want to
animals.
give us a quick sneak
Yeah,
peek
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
five?
So my top 5 are animals. AI does
Animals.
really good with animals because it's organic, like you said.
Mm.
Scenery. Scenery is really
Oh,
good. I talked about
landscape,
like
trees,
landscape.
mountains.
Yeah,
Yes.
outdoor right now in
Outdoor.
summer. People love outdoor stuff,
Mm.
mountains and hiking and palm trees and beach and like perfect time. Plants.
That's
So
awesome.
things like I said, succulents,
Mm.
flowers, mushrooms, cottagecore, huge. So organic
Oh,
again, right?
yes.
AI does a
I'm gonna
really good
write these
job with that.
down so I don't forget. I'm gonna write these down so I
Okay,
don't forget.
animals, scenery, plants so far. Food. AI does really good making a
Mm.
burger look like a burger.
Or
Um, uh,
ramen, like you said, it likes that one.
Ramen or tacos or like there's
Yeah.
tons of food t-shirts out
Yeah.
there. I'm just a girl or guy who loves ramen, right? Or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And skulls, surprisingly, it does skulls really well too.
It
So
does.
a pirate skull or a skull
Oh,
that has
yes.
a
Jolly Roger.
Jolly Roger or like the American flag on the skull or whatever flag on the skull or
I used actually Kittl AI the other day to generate I did a couple different iterations of skulls telling it a
Mhm.
couple different ways because I wanted tattoo ideas
There you go.
for gluten-free people,
Yeah.
and I did one that's like bread equals dead but the dead symbol is a skull. So I
Nice.
used AI to give me a bunch of different kinds and I was like, oh, that one's kind of cool, and I just
Nice.
drew a similar style to it. So yeah, your options are you're right. It does skulls. It will give you, unless you're very specific with the skulls. I'm talking about just Kittl AI. I used a couple of other ones, but I actually liked Kittl AI's better. You really need to give it specific. Is it a skull and crossbones?
Right.
Is it a Jolly Roger in the flag? Is
Mhm.
it a skull with a broken jaw? Like try not to. I mean, if you type in skull, it will give you one, no problem.
Mhm.
But try to give it just a slight hair amount more detail. Like,
Mhm.
I love the kind of more elaborate prompts, like a skull with flowers
Yeah.
around around the base of the skull with broken jaw, whatever. Things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is now we're all becoming, instead of artists, we're all becoming really good at writing prompts.
Writing prompts, that's what we have to be, and as well as, like, using, Chat GPT
Right.
or Google Bard or
Yeah.
something like that to, like, we're trying to learn how to give it the right prompt so that it
How do
gives
we talk
us
to
some
AI?
yeah, so that
Right.
it gives us something good, and
Yeah.
that's one thing I've done is, like, I may do a video on this because just it sounds entertaining, is, like, give me 10 super hard AI prompts to
Oh,
test
nice.
or whatever,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
smart.
like
Use
you can
AI to
use
help you with AI.
yeah, yeah, AI can help you. So it's like you're telling AI to test AI, I
Yeah,
think is super fun. But
that's fun.
also another tip for everyone is, you can type into Chat GPT or Google Bard, or I know Notion has one of their own AI tools, and you can type things like, can you give me 5 t-shirt designs for kawaii animals or whatever.
Oh,
And it may give you some pretty repetitive stuff, but it may also give you some pretty popular stuff
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's selling. And then
yeah,
you can take that data and the animals that it gives you, or the flowers or the whatever, and then you go into Kittl AI or whatever you like to use, and try to generate those icons.
yeah, yeah. We have no excuses to be stuck and not know what to design anymore,
Especially
right?
not now.
We have there's so many like ways for, like, if we're stuck, AI is great for brainstorming, right? So I think
Yes,
it's
absolutely. Um, so the last thing I want to just mention again is like best practices.
okay.
So just kind of like reiterating maybe the couple of things that we went through tip wise for utilizing AI. So when let's say that you're about to go into Kittl AI
Hmm.
or whatever you like to use,
Hmm.
and you're about to create a t-shirt design, let's just say for simplicity's sake, let's say the t-shirt design is going to be circular. So we're
Hmm.
going to have circular on the chest. What are you thinking about? What would be the best practices for utilizing AI for the t-shirt design? Just if you can even state things we've already said, just want to give people like a uh, clear amount of tips.
Well, be good at what you want to be on there, like your prompts. I would
Mm,
say know
prompts.
what to put on in your prompts. I What I love about Kittl is you have the mask on there, so even if it's a full bleed thing, you could throw it into a circle
Throw it into
mask,
a
and it would,
mask.
yeah.
Perfect.
I use that a lot. In fact, I did a video with Kittl recently on how to kind of use mask and AI to kind of give you
Nice.
some different ones. So
Nice. I'll link that below then. Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. In fact, the letters, putting it into letters was
Mm.
really fun.
Yeah. So we're
So
gonna add more of those soon, everybody.
I love it.
More letter masks.
Yeah, those are really cool. Um, what else? I think the thing that a lot of people I hear, and I'm only guessing, I hear a lot in my DMs, like I put AI designs on there and it got taken down.
Really?
The only way I can think that would be happening is if you're creating AI of like a famous person or something that's
Yeah.
copyrighted, right? Or
Or
taking
something really
somebody's,
trademark. Yeah. Like
yeah,
the Volkswagen bus.
right.
Everybody,
Don't do
I
AI
know
of that.
I know that one is tough. Don't use it for
Yeah,
commercial stuff. Don't do
yeah,
it.
exactly. So just be very careful on what
Yeah.
you choose to use AI for. You can't go just because it's AI doesn't mean you can do an AI version of Taylor Swift and put it on your t-shirt, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, and be careful about your words, guys.
yes,
Like, that's one thing I've noticed is when somebody will put in Facebook or Discord, "My thing got taken down," and
yeah,
we ask for the phrase, unfortunately, a lot of times these famous phrases are they're
trademark.
coined, and
Hmm.
so you can't utilize them in the way that you make profit printed. There's a stipulation, and you need to use these sites. I'll link them down again. You can just type in a phrase and see if it's trademarked. But
Yeah.
a lot of times, like we were just mentioning, unless it's a crazy famous person, it's mostly not likely, or a trademarked vehicle or something like that. It's
Hmm.
most likely not the art. It's probably the
The
words. And
text,
you're
yeah.
using famous words because they're popular and people like them and people say them often.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if this phrase "winter is coming" is trademarked now. I don't know if I
I
guess
would
it
stay
is.
away from that.
Yeah, I would still, but when that first came out and before they got to it, I mean, there
Uh-huh.
was a slew of all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff, but that's just an example. It's like
Yeah.
stuff that's popular. Maybe you can hop on it for the trend for a little while,
Yeah.
but a lot of times it's words.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I feel for you, but that's
Yeah,
just where.
you gotta know the rules before you play the game.
Yeah.
Song lyrics is a big one. Stay
Ah,
away from any song lyrics,
and people
especially
like to
Taylor
do that
Swift.
for posters. I
Yeah,
understand. People like to do that for
yeah.
posters,
If you're making a pun and a parody of it, it's different. But if you're straight up
like
copying
changing words. Yeah.
if you're straight up copying the lyrics from a song, you can get taken down really quick. So, yeah, I think a nice thing about having AI in a circle is if you clip it out too and kind of make it kind of break the circle a little bit. That's a really
Mm, okay.
cool thing that you can do design wise.
Kinda gives it some depth, like it's
Yeah,
coming out of a circle or something
yeah,
like that,
and you can
yeah.
see I do that right here. One of
Oh,
my
yes,
kawaii
yes.
dogs coming out of the circle. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, just everybody think about really some of the most important things to keep in mind when you're utilizing AI for T-shirts. Of course, your options are endless,
Hmm.
but as Juna said, that I think is most important is really understanding how to put it in the prompt. And for Kittl AI, we have, or how to write a prompt, we have a prompt book that's going to help you.
Nice.
Utilizing a lot of them are actually quite simple, and maybe generate one that is more simple and just
Hmm.
use that extra credit to then get a little bit more detailed with what you want.
Hmm.
As well as just thinking about, I would say, and I think you would agree, is before you're even going in and starting to design something, you already kind of need a game plan for that
Hmm.
shirt. You've either researched this audience or this niche or whatever,
Hmm.
and maybe you
Hmm.
are planning to, parse out a couple of different shirts in that style. Like the top five you gave are amazing: animals, scenery, plants and flowers, food and skulls. Okay,
Nice.
great. You have five categories you all can work on right now.
Hmm.
Make sure the prompt is sufficient for what you want it to be. Think about the style of design you're going to get it in. Make sure it's the right resolution. If it's not, consider using the vectorizer tool. And
Hmm.
then, yeah, make sure that you're exporting it in the right sizes. Again, that's not
Hmm.
really AI specific, but I know we've mentioned that before. Is if we're going to play by print on demand rules, we need to make sure we give it the
Hmm.
size that it wants, right?
Yep. And
Um,
knock out the background, which you have on Kittl as well, which
Yes,
is really
exactly.
cool.
If you're using the clip art or the image styles or the digital art styles, don't forget to knock out the background because it might be weird. Or if you're gonna, like you said, using masks, I love that tip.
Hmm.
I got to go watch that video.
Yeah, it's really cool. I
Yeah.
got five mask tips. Well,
Oh,
four, because the
nice.
first one
Yeah.
doesn't have a mask. I was trying to do it like
Okay.
this is how you use AI without a mask, and then these are the other ones with the mask. So
Yeah, yeah. So using it with a mask, that's awesome, especially if you're going to use. I love our kind of like foggy
mm-hmm,
scenery one up in the
mm-hmm,
top, and then you
mm-hmm,
throw that in a circle, and it just
mm-hmm,
fills that circle.
mm-hmm.
Or maybe you duplicate or put a basic shape behind it and give it an outline.
Yeah,
Like a weight around that circle. Your options are just.
yeah. And I've used multiple masks. So I did
Oh,
the
okay.
tall rectangle by each side, so it looks like it's breaking up, and I moved the picture so that it fills the whole space. You got to see it. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I think we did one similar with
Yeah,
we put a character in, and then we did four or five masks,
yeah.
and it's broken
Yeah,
across
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. It's so
Yeah.
cool that way. Love how
Yeah.
you have all those masks. Makes it
Awesome.
really simple.
This has been super productive. I think everybody has a lot to think about. If you haven't started using AI with your t-shirt designer print on demand, I would strongly consider it. I would also strongly consider using Kittl AI for that.
Yeah.
Juna, is there anything you want to leave everybody with? Any advice or anything that's upcoming for your channel that people need to be keeping in mind to come and check out, like tutorial wise, or anything that you need to say?
Man, I wish I had a calendar of things that I'm gonna do, but I kind of just go off the cuff. So
Sometimes I
I
do
don't
too,
have my
man.
calendar all planned out, but yeah, a lot of cool stuff. There's just so much to do. I
Yeah.
just try and think like, okay, what's the next thing I can teach them? Because honestly, I have a list of things that I want to show in videos,
Yeah.
but I don't have a calendar of when I'm gonna do it. So
Our ideas list
yeah,
is so just
I'm
deep
sure.
with, and it's like you can't
Yeah,
do everything in one day, I guess.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, Juna, thanks so much for hanging out with me. This is always a pleasure
Yeah, it's
talking
fun.
with you and getting knowledge for everyone as well as myself. Everyone, don't forget to subscribe to Kittl. It'll take you 1 second.
Nice.
It'll take you less than the time that I just said that. Just hit that red button. It'll take 1 second if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Juna's channel, Detour Shirts. It's amazing. He has grown so much over the last, I would say, year and a half or so. Your channel is just blowing up, and it's
Thank you.
amazing to see.
Yeah, it's been
And
fun.
yeah, so much more stuff coming out on your channel, and things not only related to design, but also he's giving great, SEO or back end knowledge that you should know. That's really important. So we have this design side, but then we also have this kind of technical side that you all need to think about. So check out his channel, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Hey guys.
Now, if you want to see other tutorials using Kittl, I have these videos here on my right that I know you're going to enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos and features and things like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.